Welcome. I'm Sue Landay. This is Show and Share. And today we have with us Dan Yaman, who is the founder, owner, chief guru. He's probably the bottle washer and the everything at Learningware, which is the company that makes Gameshow Pro. And he is also the head of a company called LiveSpark, which is a production company. So, in addition to making this software and this amazing game show tool available to all of us, he also goes on site and helps people kind of bring this to life and bring out learning. And Dan, I'm happy to have you. I know you've been here before, and this time I've asked you specifically if we can focus not just on using game shows to reinforce learning, but to really think about how we can use them to introduce content so that we can gamify a whole session and not leave that fun and excitement to the end. So that's my whole intro. We've been working together, what, for 25 years? I don't know, something crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think it was 15 when we started.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's not true, obviously. Yes, but yeah. In fact, in my LinkedIn, it just said I had celebrating my 35th year at Learning, where I'm thinking, oh my God, that is incredible. Anyway, yeah, it's great. And I love the relationship. I love Trainer's Warehouse, and it's always been an honor. So you want me to take it away?
Take it away.
Great.
Absolutely.
So thank you all for joining us. I'm going to be showing you Game Show Pro, which is got some new features built in. Can you see that right now?
Yep.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm sharing my sound, which I am. Now, we added in some features that are going to help you, just like what Sue was saying, introduce content while you're playing the game. The game is great for getting people engaged, creating a competitive emotional atmosphere, and all that helps learning and it makes information stickier. But the question comes again, how do you go ahead and use it to deliver your training in addition to playing the game?
Mm.
So we built in a couple new things, and I want to quickly walk through you. And also, I want to say that the tips which I'm going to give you about this can doesn't have to be used in Game Show Pro. If you're doing any type of game, these tips will be helpful. But
Thank you.
it, you can go ahead and we're just going to show you where you create questions in PowerPoint, and I'm going to quickly show you this. We'll just call this sample game.
So, and I'm just going to interject here. Dan is kind of balancing, showing us like the back end, how it all works for us as facilitators, as well as how it's going to appear kind of forward facing. So, we appreciate that balance there. And we're going to look at two games, like a category game and then an all play. So, this is the first one is category, which is most similar to Jeopardy and that really familiar game.
Right. Sorry about that. Thank you for helping me with that. Yeah, there comes four different games. Categories is a Jeopardy style game, and you can understand why I can't call it Jeopardy, but categories are no problem. So I'm going to show you the way that you create the questions in PowerPoint is it comes with a template and you just fill in the blanks. So I'm going to go with why did the chicken cross the road? Now, here's where I'm going with this, and that is, let's say I wanted to teach you. You're all members of farmers or something, and I want to teach something about chickens to you. If you are new to this information, it would be wrong for me to ask questions about the information you haven't been exposed to. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to show you is how you can go ahead and ask softball questions that people should know, but then interject information that you're going to be expanding on or something that they know. So the question is, why did the chicken cross the road? And the answer is to get to the other side. Now, the thing that you can also do in Game Show Pro is you can open up a formats panel, And let's say I wanted to have a picture there. I can drop in a picture of a chicken, and that would be a little bit more deeper explanation of this. And I can also add notes. So you know how you can add notes in PowerPoint? You can just go ahead and type in something like, this is a bad dad joke, or something that when you only you see it, but it will give you an opportunity to recall what you want to say. And I'll be showing you in a minute how that works. Now, what gives the power of training in this is that you can add info screens. And if you can see down here in the corner where I'm circling, this is an info screen. And all an info screen is additional information. It shows up after you show the question, but it allows you to go deeper. So let's create a question here. I'll drag in a picture. And the point I want to make is that this is the white leghorn. Oops, sorry. Where did PowerPoint go? This is a white leghorn.
And what's great about this while you're typing is that both you have information for the learners and also for the trainer, kind of your crib notes that are built in right into this, whether you're writing your notes that you can access on the bottom, as well as this information for the learners.
Right. And so I just did it. I added in that the white leghorn is the most popular chicken breed, and I can add additional information. It lays up to 300 eggs a year.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So with that, after I fill in all the questions, I import it into Gameshow Pro, and I'm going to quickly go and I'm going to open up a game where all of the questions are placed in. It's in my right here.
Yes, you can also
And
add video and animated GIFs
yeah,
instead of a static picture, Brandon.
yep, that's a good question. And let me go to sample games. So I'm now opening up a sample categories game, and I'll show you how all this blends together. So you can see here are all the questions that I had built in PowerPoint. And right here, if I go ahead, here's a question about Minecraft, but this is the information that I placed regarding that particular side. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to show you how the game is played and how the info screens integrate into this. We're going to play this offline, and let me go ahead and display the board. Now, what you're seeing here is the back end. This is how I control the game, but I can bring up a little screen here. This is what's happening on the external screen. So when you're in your training room, everybody's focused in on this screen, but you can control everything here. Does that make sense? And if I were doing this, I could share my second screen and have you watch it that way too. But we're going to decide who goes in first. And let's say it's the Eagles, and they say, give me arts for 100. And here's the question. What is a Wonderful World? What a Wonderful World is a jazz song recorded by which American singer? Now you'll notice they can only see the question, but you see both the question and the answer. And let's say the Eagles ring in. Oh, I got to enable ring in, and the Eagles ring in, and let's say they are right. Here's where I can do it. I can show the additional information right now. And Louis Armstrong recorded this song in one take. And here is the information that I put in the notes that only I can see. And that would allow me to go deeper into the subject.
And Dan, do you mind if I just jump in with one other thing I've heard you say in the past?
Absolutely.
For example, you identified the team saying, I'll take, eagles for 100. If you're using this as a teaching tool, there's no rule that says you have to let the teams choose the order of the questions. If you have a defined, um, you know, a defined order in which you want to reveal information and introduce and discuss it, you just control that. You say, okay, here's our next question, and challenge them to answer, see what they know. So you don't have to be guided by some of those norms.
Right. And it's especially good because if you're doing a sales training, which we see a lot, they will usually go for, I'll take the question, but they'll go for the 500 value points right away to get in the lead. The problem is it's great if they're winning, but then all the other teams feel left behind. So very often we'll say, we're just going to go in the order from the lowest to the highest. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And here's the additional information. I can hide the information and go back to the board. I'll give you one more example. Released in 1941, what is Disney's animated feature film with a title character that never speaks? Let's say the sharks ring in and they're right. Again, I can add additional information that goes deeper into that subject. Okay. And you can do this with any type of game. Now, let me show you one other game, and I'm going to invite you to play along. If you happen to have a phone with you, I'm going to let you to give you a thing. Let me just exit out of here.
Let me just, while you're doing that, reply to Laura Lee. I see your question there. I want to come to that at the end after Dan's had a chance to introduce this other game, and then we'll come back. So feel free, everyone, continue to add questions there, and we'll come back to them for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. So we're going to play a game that's called All Play. All of you can play along. And I am going to display a QR code. And normally this would be full screen. So just go ahead and log in. Now I'm dividing you into two groups, or you're dividing yourself into two groups, either the east of the Mississippi or west of the Mississippi. I'm in Minnesota, Mississippi. So let me think. If I was in St. Paul, I would have to be east of the Mississippi. But you can figure out where you're located and just in. Now I can see all of you are coming in. You see your names right there? And let's see. We've got, look at this. We got almost an even distribution of east versus west.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So we're going to see who's smarter.
Ha!
And we're going to start the game. It's called the All Play Smackdown. And right here, you can see my notes that I typed in PowerPoint. We introduce the team. We'll get them cheering. Let's hear it for east of the Mississippi. Okay, I know you're cheering back there, even if we can't hear you. And the West.
Woohoo!
Okay, so what you're going to see is some examples of some questions along with adding in additional information. So here is the first question. Pay attention to this. And the question, and what's going to happen is when I'm allowing you to vote, that's going to turn the buttons, hit the button that corresponds with what you think the correct answer is, and then lock it in. So here's the first question. This is all has to do with people. And the question is, which artist Eras Tour grossed an unprecedented $3 billion in ticket sales by the end of 2024? Was it Beyonce? Was it Taylor Swift? Was it Ed Sheeran? Or was it Adele? Now go ahead and vote.
And are we looking right now at the facilitator screen there, or what the students are seeing, or both?
You're seeing just what I am seeing, but this is what the students are seeing.
Okay.
Okay. And that's just the screen that we bring up. On my other monitor here, I'm just showing this.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But take a look at this. We have 100% correct versus 90. I'll show you what the correct answer is, Taylor Swift. And we're going to show you the scores. And the west of the Mississippi prevailed on there, 100%. got it right versus 90% of the east of the Mississippi. Don't worry about it. We're going to ask another question, but we're going to add it to the total. But here's the thing. Anyone know why it's called the Eras Tour? If anyone knows, just go ahead and type it in the box. I'm curious because I never knew. And to be honest with you, I had to ask my granddaughter exactly why it was called that. But it goes into, oh, I had another slide. I picked up the wrong one. I'm sorry. Eras Tour is that um, the concert was 3.5 hours long, but it's broken into the different eras of her life. So now you learn that. Next, now this is a screen, another info screen about Star Trek, and it's introducing the next question. So this could be used to, let's say, set up a question, create a scenario, and then you could ask questions related to that scenario, which will be useful, let's say, in leadership training. But name the actor who played the original Commander Spock. Was it Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner, and George Takei? And I'm just going to show you something. Right there, everyone. So watch what happens as you vote. Okay, the correct answer is Leonard Nimoy. And let's take a look at the scores. West of Mississippi again. And it's now 200 to 178. Any questions about this?
Couple questions. If you wanted to then go to the fall, I see the next question slide, but I thought there was the information slide.
The information slide.
Did we miss that?
Yeah, we missed it, and it was my fault.
Is it before you show the results?
It comes out after you show the results. An info slide would come up, but I opened up the wrong game.
Okay. So
fault.
before we go to another question, Rob is asking, can we set this up, this all play up, so that people are playing in teams as well as showing all the individual answers?
Yes. In fact, I can show you the leaderboard. So this tracks both. It tracks both individual and teams. And you don't even have to show teams. You can have them just come in, and so it would be competing among the people. And there's different ways of scoring it. You can score it by speed. We got 4 different scenarios in which you can score individual answers. And so you can see
Repeat your point about if you were doing leadership training.
What was that?
I'm not sure which of us made a point about if you were doing leadership training. Did you mention?
Oh, let's say you can open it up with a scenario as an info screen, like Doris is having a problem with a coworker and she's gossiping. Then the question could be, what is the best tactics to deal with this problem? So leadership training, where it's a lot of scenario based, you can go ahead and introduce that as an info screen. Does that make sense? And you can also, let me show you, somebody asked about video. I can play a video. This is an info screen for about the moon landing. And it might, I don't know if it's coming across, but there is video playing right now.
So we also had a question. Laura was asking about AI options and if you can use AI to create questions. And I'm not sure, I should let you answer. I'm not sure it's part of Gameshow Pro, but I would think that in ChatGPT, you can ask that for a set of questions that might get you started on the topic. Is that how you'd answer? Or
there's a couple ways there's 2 ways of doing it. One is you can, and we've got prompts that we can share with you, where you can go ahead and get that information in ChatGPT, it will export it into a folder, into a style that you can import into Gameshow Pro real easy because we have that functionality. So the answer to that is yes. But if I can show you something, let's go back to this.
I'm just
Um,
going to make a note that you can share that with us so we
yes,
can
I
get
will.
back to that later.
Yep. And God, I really can't show you this. We actually do have something built in for AI that you can go ahead and put out a topic and it will produce questions. It's in beta right now. It works, but yeah, you can populate your questions through AI.
Excellent.
Do you need two screens to use this product? Was you do when you are playing it, but you would normally have two screens. One would be your laptop, and the other is your whatever is projected on the screen for the students. So that is it. Let me just, well, let's might as well just ask this final question. Name the location where the capsule touched down when the moon landing. Was it the Sea of Tranquility, Sea of Serenity, Cushy Crater, or Montezuma? We're going to go ahead and pull. Okay, the correct answer is the Sea of Tranquility. And we're going to show the scores. Oh, I don't know. That's west of Mississippi's doing well. One other thing is we've got a raffle built in. So anybody who got the last question correct, we can put you into a raffle. And just, Brandon, congratulations. You got your name put up on the screen.
Excellent. Other questions? I think we've answered a lot as we've been going through this, but let's just take a beat. And if you want to unmute yourself instead of trying to type in, we welcome that as well.
Do you win anything, Brandon? No.
Oh, $500 off your purchase of Gameshow Pro.
That's very true.
We do have a special for those of you who have joined us, that we are the 4-game tool is $19.95 right now. That includes 1 year of service, and Dan has offered to take off $500 from that, so $14.95 for as a special. Donna, yeah, please.
So it seems like the format of most of these games, would you say, is it there's a question and then an answer is provided in multiple choice, or the participant needs to think of the answer and type it in? Is that correct?
They don't type it in,
Or
they say it verbally.
say it verbally? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about going back to your leadership training, and if you really want people to practice a soft skill, say practice. So it's not just knowing the content of, say you're in conflict and you have interest and you have positions. And so a content question might be, what do you want to focus on? The answer is interest. We want to go to them really being able to demonstrate how to find the interest. Is there that flexibility, or what's the format that would help?
There is a format of a game we called Right, Wrong, Pass, and it allows you to do that type of scenario training. And by the way, we have a trainer that uses a Jeopardy in that scenario, and that is it will describe it, and the team has to act it out.
Ah.
And then the correct answer is judges decide, and it could be right or wrong, but you can in the right wrong pass game, and I'll be happy to show you a demo, one-on-one if you want. You
Okay.
can do that and have it. And we built that in because it's a great sales training tool as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing the demo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other thing that comes to mind with this is also like we put on, kind of this guide and these assumptions that we think the game should run in this way. You ask the questions, you answer, you show the information, you keep going, you ask the next question. I think that as you're using this for content sharing, you also need to give yourself permission to step away and say, let's get into this idea of interests and positions. Let's talk more specifically about that and have a conversation and not feel driven to finish a set of questions of the game. It's a tool for you. It makes it fun and interactive and participatory, but don't feel limited by our assumptions of how a game usually runs.
Yeah, and a great game to use that scenario with is in a Family Feud style game. Because when an answer flips over, you can go into a discussion about why that answer is correct, and do that, and then go back to the game to your point. Or if somebody comes up with an answer that's not on the board and they get an X, you can discuss why that was not the best answer that you were looking for.
So Dan and his colleague Missy Covington published a book called I'll Take Learning for 500. And it has a lot of these kind of best practices of how to run a game beyond like what you might see on TV, but thinking about that from a learning perspective. We do have that as a download from our website. If you click on the product, I think that it pops up so you can download that information, but lots of facilitation ideas in that as well. What other questions do we have? These are awesome.
And two more things. One is we have a extensive help manual that goes into tips on how to best set it up for the type of game you're doing. And also, we offer really good onboarding. We will work with you, we will discuss it. We take a strong interest in you being successful in this game, and we'll even help you build out the first game and give you suggestions all the way through.
Brandon's identifying, it should say 1995. Yes, it should. It sounds like we do have a typo in there. And we'll take care of that. Thank you for noting that. So we're almost a half an hour in, and I want to welcome those who need to jump off to do so. But for those who are able to stick around, I wonder if you can show us the right wrong pass now, or if you feel more like you need to do that at a different time.
It's up to you. I'm happy to show you that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And I understand for those who may need to leave, thanks for being here. But let's for those who can stay, let's keep at it.
Okay. Let me go and grab that game. Now, this game is not really, this is still a trivia game, but let me see, right, wrong, pass. So the whole idea behind right, wrong, pass, it's a game that you can go ahead and design pretty much how you want to play it. But it's got a gamification aspect, it's scoring, and so on. It was originally designed for a company that didn't want to use a Jeopardy game format because Jeopardy really favors fast responses, fast readers. Do you follow what I mean? The people that can think quickly. And some of you may have students where English might not be their first language. So we created this game, and I'm going to show you how it works. But again, as in the setup, I'm walking you through the setup. Here are all the questions that we created. You can go ahead and come up with whatever team names you want. You can have between 1 and 5. And by the way, you mentioned ChatGPT. I asked for some fun team names, and they came up with Christopher Walken, Quiztopher Walken, Trivial Matters. This was ChatGPT's contribution. Here's where you set up the scoring for the rounds of question that you have, and you indicate how much you want to have for each type of question.
Are you screen sharing right now, or do you mean to be?
Oh gosh, I am not. Thank you.
Okay. That's
oh my
good.
God, that's so embarrassing. I've done this so many times. I got to learn not to do it. Sorry about that.
No
Here
worries.
are the questions. Here are the team names. Here are the scoring and timers that you set up. And I'll show you how all this works. And we'll jump into the game. Now, what I'm going to do is show the preview screen again. This is what the audience is looking for. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that you can see how I control the game and the options that we have while we're playing the game. But this is just called Pop Quiz. And the first question is, name the 5 of the 7 continents. Now, if what you wanted to do is ask, like, demonstrate something like this, well, let me back up. The way that we usually play this is we've got 4 teams, but you divide your whole classroom into different teams. So you can have 4 teams of 3 people each. And you have the whiteboards, and your whiteboards would be a really good way of doing this. And you ask the question and you ask them to write down the answer on the whiteboard while it is being timed. And so you can see the timer here. And when it's done, you go into the judging phase. And then you have them all show what they wrote on the whiteboard, and you can show the answer, and then you can mark them right or wrong as you go like that. Or you can give an option if you wanted to pass, and they could do this. Now, to answer your question, if you wanted them to do a role play, what you can do is, and I wish I had a role-playing question here, but I don't, but you can go to the first team and you say, here is a scenario. How would you go about and handle that? And you will give them some time to think about it. And when the timer is done, they have to demonstrate that. Okay. Now, you can.
So if I understand correctly, either the facilitator can be the judge of right, wrong.
Yeah.
Or the group can.
The group can go ahead and say,
right?
Yeah, that's right. Let's give it to them.
Either by thumbs up or by
thumbs up or thumbs down. Now, unfortunately, they usually tend to, they're not the most objective people, if you know what I mean. But you can do it that way. And so when we do this a role playing, you could say, how do you overcome this objective or objection to making the sale? And you can have the teams put their heads together. You can give them as long as you want because you control the timer. And then they go ahead and show what the answers are. Is one way of playing. You can just go to the first team and here's your question. And then you mark that right. And then you show the correct answer. And then you go to the next question for the second team. So there's, and I'm being really loose in our documentation. We go into a lot of different scenarios in which you can play this game.
Dan, another question, just to kind of jump in here. Someone asked, are all of these only for live use, or can they be adapted for e-learning?
They
for
are not
self-paced learning.
They are not. They're for live use.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you for showing that. That was another great game by learning.
People are loving this, but here's how you change the different scoring scenarios just by clicking here. Now this question would be considered a role play question if you wanted to, and the points would adjust for this question. if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Wonderful. Any other questions for Dan? All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you then. As always, we'll stay on for a little bit longer, but I love this tool. I love how interactive it is. Really just a great contribution to our training tools that we have. And so thank you. Thanks for being here.